The 2025 Hopkinton Annual Town Meeting started with a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. I move to take Article 37 out of order and consider it immediately following Article 26. The reason for this is both articles pertain to the center school reuse, so we thought it was best to get them right after one another, same presentation, and hopefully save us all some time.
After the motion, the consent agenda was approved.
EEG, access and cable-related funding. Article 8, Chapter 90 highway funds. Article 9, transfer to the other post-employment benefits liability trust fund. Article 10, transfer to the general stabilization fund.
After Article 3 and 4 passed, it was time to discuss the 2026 fiscal year operating budget.
Through a combination of cost containment and some good news on estimated revenues, the proposal before today's town meeting, if approved, will deliver a balanced budget, one that sustains fiscal year 2025 service levels across departments, that pays for contractual and other inflationary cost increases, and provides for schools to deal with growing enrollment. I mentioned that this budget proposal contains some targeted service level increases. Specifically, the proposed budget provides the Hopkinton Public Schools with a $3.63 million funding increase, not including a substantial increase in school and town staff benefits costs. The school budget will also include an additional $1.046 million in Article 12 to support tuition for special education students who are placed in programs outside the community.
The $132 million plus budget passed unanimously after little debate. Article 13 set up a revenue account for the local meals tax.
Supporting Article 13 is a proactive move to invest in Hopkinton's future, expand our tax base, as I mentioned, to diversify and reduce the tax burden on residents, improve services, and enhance our community for generations to come.
The article passed unanimously. Article 14 included a public safety radio system upgrade and 3 new police cruisers.
The should-dos, these are again the things we recommend. Can-dos, HVAC, we read the public forums and we're on Facebook just like you are. Help needed, what I really hope you see this as is we're looking for your recommendation and guidance.
Article 14 passed unanimously. Article 18 was a town-wide water main flushing program.
This article provides $18,679 from water enterprise retained earnings and $81,320 from unexpected capital funds. The source items where funds are to be reappropriated and the amounts are listed in the motions document. This is generally just to support our water main flushing program. It's a more regular process, and it's to help get more clear water. We've been having some problems with the water in the last couple of years.
The article also passed unanimously. Article 19 was about the Grove Street water tank design.
This article provides $250,000 from enterprise from unexpended capital funds. The source items from water funds are to be reappropriated, and the amounts are listed in the motions document. Water tank number 1 is almost 60 years old, and this is beginning the plan to figure out what is needed to replace the tank.
The article passed unanimously. Article 21 was a supplemental appropriation for MWRA connection design work.
This article provides $375,000 from certified free cash, which is to be repaid by the Water Enterprise Fund to the general fund within a period of 2 fiscal years. This work is needed to finish design work, which is currently at about 60% to complete it.
The article passed a clicker vote, 128 to 21. Article 22 set up a wastewater treatment facility on Fruit Street with a cost of $465,000.
This article provides $465,000 from sewer enterprise retained earnings. New screen required to comply with discharge permit from the Mass DEP, improves treatment and water quality.
The article passed unanimously. Article 24 adds an adaptive playground at Marathon Elementary School and raised a little debate.
More ground level play, which allows children of all abilities to be able to access and get onto all of those elements and play together with their peers. Here you can see a quiet area off with a playhouse, and the playground also has a pathway around which encourages different movements. You can see the different movements that are suggested in the path, which again is helpful to students. And again, this is a top-level view of the whole backside, and you can see how it is adjacent to the existing playground, which is at the top left.
The article passed a clicker vote, 125 to 41. Article 26 was community preservation recommendation and was broken into 3 motions. Motion 1 and 2 included Marathon Elementary School and a recreation reserve for 3 water refill stations at the town common.
We have more and more kids and families, and this is really going to benefit them. More things to do downtown, at the common, at the community center. But we can't do that alone, even with loaning against future CPC funds. Next slide. So the plan is, with support tonight, is to move forward with a public and private partnership. So we are looking to, with the HCA, but specifically with an RFP, move forward with a Hopkinton-based nonprofit focused on the arts.
The article passed unanimously. Motion 3 preserved Center School. After a little bit of debate, the article passed unanimously. Article 27 was a zoning bylaw for defining a veterinary clinic.
So there was a hearing with our zoning advisory committee to discuss it. They thought it was completely in line with what a veterinary clinic would provide, the services they provide. So they moved it to the planning board for discussion. We had a public hearing, and we as a planning board think it's totally in line with the services a veterinary clinic would provide. So that's why we're here before town meeting recommending it for approval.
The article passed a clicker vote, 119 to 20. Article 33 changed the day and time of annual town meeting to the entire meeting taking place on the first Saturday in May.
So I put Hopkinton's average as well as our annual town meeting in 2024. So our annual town meeting in 24 had a larger amount of articles. So it was a little bit more reasonable for it to be long. But the average, looking at us not including the COVID years where we did do 2 Saturday meetings, show that we actually have typically an average of 48 articles per meeting for annual town meeting. And our time for an average based on the last few years is 9.8 hours. So it's almost 3 hours longer than the current meetings in almost any other town that does it on a Saturday.
The article passed a clicker vote, 97 to 39. Article 34 was a citizen petition to prohibit use of engine compression brakes.
As amended, it says on public ways within the town of Hopkinton, except for routes I-90 and I-495. The issue for me, the inspiration was at Woodville, and the follow-on was the complaints about noise. Jake brakes, unmuffled Jake brakes are quite noisy. They were described by one party that I know who drives trucks as barking because they are not muffled. They can be muffled.
We're making a law here, and the chief of police, his job is to enforce it. That's what he does. But we're making a law that's almost impossible for him to enforce. I'm pulling you over because you used a Jake brake. Well, I had an emergency, officer. That's it. I'm sorry. This is pretty silly. Overall, I think town meetings run great, though. Thank you.
This article failed, 35 to 80. Article 39 amended the town charter to give Board of Library Trustees power to make appointments.
We're seeking to make is the Board of Library Trustees may appoint a library director in accordance with the personnel policies of the town. The Board of Library Trustees shall annually set goals for the library director and with input from the town manager.
The article passed 88 to 27. Article 40 was the final article of the night and the annual town meeting.
but it'll help keep our collection rate at 99%. But also, it allows us to utilize the demand fees to pay for the new budgeting software, and our goal is to keep our budget flat.
The article passed unanimously, and the 2025 Hopkinton Annual Town Meeting concluded in about 3 hours and 45 minutes.
Then do I have a motion from the Select Board to adjourn until the town election?
The Select Board moves that we adjourn until town election is concluded.
Okay. And all those in favor? Opposed? And unanimous, so carries. Good night. Thank you, everyone.